Hey, I'm Mr. James from Charm City Karate. I wanted to talk to you guys today about Tough 18, the Ultimate Fighter show. I hope, I assume really, most of you guys are fans. Just about everybody I know is into MMA. The really cool thing about this season, of course, is they introduced female fighters to the show. Personally, I was kind of hoping it would be all female fighters since they're giving them a shot. It didn't really work out that way. It's about half and half. You know, half female fighters, half guy fighters. But that also allowed for some interesting comparisons as the show went on. You know, how did the male fighters handle it versus the female fighters handle it? It made for some really interesting comparisons as you went. And of course, the coolest thing was you got to see how two female coaches handled the show. And the coaches had very different styles, which is pretty typical for the show. But it was cool having two female coaches, huh? And they really don't like each other. No. One interesting difference that I found on the show was that a lot of the fighters had blogs. You know, I don't think any of the other seasons had that. If they did, I certainly don't know about it. So after each episode, you could go online and kind of read some behind-the-scenes stuff about what had gone on. Gave you a kind of a hint about some of the stuff they edit. You know, so you would watch an episode and you think, oh, well, this happened this way. And you find out, no, it didn't really happen that way. They just cut it so it looked like that. Or this is what was going on to lead up to that event. Things like that. Sometimes it was people you thought were jerky that really were just jerky. So it kind of gave you an interesting behind-the-scenes look, too. There were some really crazy upsets in the house. Queen of Spades losing her first fight to pretty much a rookie. That was a pretty big upset. One of my favorites, Sarah Morris beating a pretty heavy favorite, her first fight in the house. Not a surprise to me, but obviously a surprise to Dana and some of the others. So that was cool to see. Personally, I think that most of the female fighters performed better than most of the male fighters. I'm not going to say all, because I'm not into that whole whitewash thing, but the guys, some of them went back to that whole lay and pray thing. You know, I'm not against ground and pound. That can be really fun to watch too, but lay and pray's just got to go, man. That pin him to the ground and just stay on top of him because you don't know how to submit a guy and you don't know how to work when you're on the ground. That's just tragic. If you're going to get on top of somebody and hold them down, beat on them while you're down there. Don't just like hold on to them like you're hugging somebody to death. That's wrong. Over the years, one of the reasons I've really come to enjoy WMMA, the women's MMA, is because they tend to get after it a lot more than the guys. I just think it's something in their DNA. You know, when they fight, it's like protecting their cubs or something. They just go nutty. Two guys missed their weight. What is that, man? They stopped cutting? You're never going to be a pro if you can't cut weight. I know it's incredibly hard. I'm not saying that like because I've done it. I know it's hard because I've talked to guys. I've watched people cut weight. It sucks. I'm not saying I could do it. But I'm not a professional fighter. That's one of the reasons I'm not a professional fighter. I wouldn't do it. But if that's going to be what you do, then you got to do it. You know? Shayna Baszler said it. You get paid to cut weight. You'd fight for free. It's your shot at the big leagues, man. All you had to do was make weight, and then you can go fight. You got to make weight. Two guys. It's the first time it's ever happened. Two guys on the same show. I don't know. Anyway, that part was pretty amazing to me. One of the coaches, Tate, playing favorites on her own team, that's just wrong. Listen, as a professional instructor, you cannot play favorites, man. You can't have a favorite when you're teaching. You can't have a favorite when you're coaching. It's so wrong. It changes the entire dynamic of your class, of your team, whatever it is. Everybody knows you're playing favorites. They can feel it. And even if you're not, if they just perceive that you have a favorite, even if you actually don't, if they just feel like you do, they start to resent you. All right? Okay, your favorite starts to feel like, oh, I'm better. Everybody else starts to go, they hate the person they think is your favorite. They start to grudge against you. Everything gets bad really fast. It's really hard to get it back. It's just no good. And, you know, as an outsider watching it, Miesha says there was no favorites being played. Pena says there was no favorites being played. A lot of people in the house said there was. Watching the show, I got to say it looked like there was. You can't do it. You got to be a professional. I'm really excited about the fights coming up Saturday. Some of my favorites are going to be fighting at the finale. A couple of the girls I was looking forward to see fight aren't going to be able to make it because they got hurt training. That sucks. Part of the job, though. But this season has been really fun to watch. Like I said, it's great watching WMMA get its shot in the big leagues. I hope Tough 19, which is scheduled to start in January, is also a split house. I'd like to see some more girls fighting in the house. Maybe from now on we'll get at least a 50-50 house each time. Although I wouldn't mind seeing a season that was all women. It's up to you, Dana. You know it's a big market now. Hey, maybe for Tough 19 I'll do a vlog every episode. Well, let me know what you think. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Tough 18. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. See you next time.